Hello, my name is Keyte and welcome back to another episode where I'm trying to improve at Counter-Strike while also trying to improve my mental and physical health. This week I'll be optimizing my aim training and warm-up routine that will be the foundation for the foreseeable future. Over the last 10 weeks I've tried a variety of different routines and scenarios to try and identify and understand what works for me and what doesn't. I've also watched a lot of YouTube videos of existing aim training routines, and the overarching idea behind pretty much all of them is consistency. Because let's be honest, if you're doing only one training routine a week, or even just doing a burst for a week and then not continuing after that, there won't be continual improvement and you'll only reach a certain point. So my routine will be optimized for consistency. What will I do 5+ times a week? Because we all want to hit that perfect score of 5 out of 7. First, let's dive into what my optimal warm-up routine will look like. So far, we've had two pretty stable things. For the beginning, we've had the 100 aimbots to get my movement mechanics warmed up, to get my flicks ready, and just to warm up the hands, the arms, the wrists, and the fingers, just to get those a bit warmer. Then we've moved on to 100 tracking on the reflex map, and that includes just warming up that slow tracking of the arm from the elbow movement, just getting that nice and smooth. And from there, the third one has slightly changed. Over the 10 weeks, we've only really had two different swaps to the third part of the routine. It's been the Elige refrag routine that has been really effective, and now we've moved over to the refrag coach, which we've discussed last week, but it can be split between 7, 15, 30, 45 minutes depending on what we're feeling. So I think this change will allow that difference in time, which I think is really important, but also the flux of what the scenarios might be within the routine will just help move it around, change it up, so that I want to do it more and I'm consistent with it. Whereas the Elige refrag routine was getting a little stale. So we want the warm-up routine to be probably a max about 30 minutes long. So with the aimbots and tracking being about 5 minutes in total, and if we have the 15 minutes for the refrag coach, we still have 10 minutes spare. And I think with those three as the front three, if we then add in deathmatch just at the end for 10 minutes, I think that would be a fantastic way to warm up. It gives us the bots and the stability of that warm up, moving across to some real life people, trying to track them, their movement, and just getting comfortable on the server. Some people have discussed things like aim labs, and I have explored the ramp Valorant warm-up in previous time, and I found it really effective. It got my arm moving quite well. But I think my problem isn't necessarily that my aim isn't the best, it's more that getting my mechanics right for the fights, I think, is the most important. And so the only way to really do that is in the game, is in CS2. So I think warming up within the game is probably the best bet, and leaving the aim labs or the third-party stuff to the aim training later. And now that we're talking about aim training, let's dive into what the optimal aim training routine might look like for me. Aim training is something that I'm going to put at the end of my sessions. So this will be after an on day, which is a day with my team practicing or playing pugs or whatever it is, and off days. So this is days where I'm not doing training with my team. I'm just coming on to do my aim training. So aim training on my on days, I'll be looking at aim labs. I think having days where I am playing the game, whether that's in scrims, pugs, whatever it is, I don't then want to finish the day with playing the game again. I think that doesn't allow that change. It doesn't stimulate my brain properly. And I think having that change to aim labs, a third party that has that instant feedback of score at the end of each scenario, I think that will give me that consistency because I will want to do it. I want to continue doing it 5+ days a week. Whereas on my off days, so I won't be playing those stretches of CS, I think that's the days I want to do deathmatch or specific training in refrag. So I think that's where I'll do my 250 kills, or I will do a pre-fire or angle trainer session. I think trying to get my peeking and my aiming in deathmatch, or my crosshair and peeking session training in refrag, I think that is where it will thrive. Because we need to remember, the idea is I'm trying to complete this 5 times a week or more. So there needs to be a level of change and variability, so it's interesting and fun to do, but also that there needs to be availability for adjustments so that I can change it up when I need to. There's scalability, time restraints, and stuff like that. And also there's regular feedback, which obviously Aim Labs provides straight after each scenario, which is great, and then you can do the benchmarks on Voltaic. But also for just CS, you have the Leatify aim ratings for matches. You have refrags Ealing scores, which I don't really value that much because I'm not really 100% on how they work. But that still gives me that feedback and gives me that motivation to keep pushing for higher grades. This week's wrap up is going to be a relatively quick one. I'm away again from Friday to Sunday, but mainly because I also forgot to record the game and only recorded my face for the week. On Monday, we unfortunately lost our playoff match, and so that puts us out of the running for promotion, but I believe that still keeps us in for next season of entry. The playoff match didn't go as we wanted. We had to play with a stand-in again, and my PC crashed halfway through the first map, which is just not ideal, and we also lost some key fights and rounds. And our follow-up Face It games was an easy win on Mirage, and then a close and depressing loss on Ancient. Tuesday was an off day, so I jumped on for my normal warm-up and my deathmatch, and then the team jumped on to have a discussion about the roles and responsibilities to better suit the playstyles of each player. Wednesday was an on day with the full team. We managed to get on for a pug on Ancient, which we dominated 13-2, and then we played 2 scrims on Ancient to just implement anything we had learned and changes into our protocols. And Thursday, I moved into my parents', where I'll be staying for the next 2 weeks, rebuilt my setup, and the team jumped on for the evening. We played a Face It Pug, where we dominated again, and we played a scrim to sort out our protocols for Anubis. So now you know my aim training plan for the upcoming months, and I'll include the details and links in the comments below. This plan should hold me out until September or so, but until then, we've got some other areas of my life that we need to address if I'm going to have hopes of reaching the top levels of Counter-Strike. Next week, we are going to be attacking something outside of the game. My sleep. Because my god, this week I regressed to my teenage years. I was watching Chuck until 2 a.m. and I had to get up early, so I was left shattered and destroyed. So if you have any thoughts or ideas for me on sleep, then please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Peace.